Hey guys, hope you're having a great day. Today is Thursday. Happy Thursday morning to you. I hope that your morning is going well. My morning is going wonderfully. Wonderfully, is that a word? Wonderful, wonderfully. My kids, we sit around, we talk, and I'll say something like wonderfully, you know, fantastically, and they're like, Mom, that's not even a word. I'm like, go look it up. Google, see if it's an actual word. I'm like, well, that's just how I feel. It's a wonderfully good morning. So up, ready to do my day today. So yesterday, I did a lot of food yesterday, which was a good day making food. And I looked at my refrigerator today and I'm like, I'm still gonna have to make something for dinner tonight. I was thinking we'd have a ton of leftovers, but we actually don't. So I will have to do that later. I don't know if I probably won't film that. I don't know what it'll be. I'll let you know Friday what we end up making. But for today's video, what I have been trying to focus on is eating out of my freezers, eating out of my pantry, going to the discount store, you know, and just finding what's on sale and using that for our meals for the week. And that's worked awesomely. Awesome. That's worked great. I'm gonna put all these words together. You guys be like, those don't even make sense. So what I like to do is have a few things on hand in my freezer to like make quick meals. So today's video is going to be mostly because I said I'd love to do just a video. Like people have, you know, 5 things to stock your pantry with 10 tips to do this. But I like to share like way more than just the 10 tips or just way more than just 5 things. So thank you for being here for all those. But for the most part, the majority of this video is going to be things that I make to put in my freezer to have on hand for meals. So things to, what would you even call it? How am I gonna word this? Preparing staples for your freezer so you can stock up on them. I don't know, whatever you want to word it as. I'm just thinking about it. Some staples to prepare, store in your freezer for quick and easy meals. Now I feel like that's a long video title, but that's how it is. So things that I like to keep in my freezer to have on hand is cream of mushroom soup, cream of chicken soup. Those things help hugely. I have bought things. I'm pretty sure I have a can in my cupboard right now. I have 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. So I have bought things. So there is no shame in buying things. If you have to buy them, you buy them. No shame there. But what I do, I can't say I always have. I have had seasons in my life. I went through a processed food, like this makes my life easier kind of season the last few years, I want to say, maybe last 2 years. And that's okay. You do what you can do for your own mental well-being. You do what you can do. But if you can make some curry mushroom soup, make some, because it is so good. And the reason why I like to make mine is because we deal with a couple kids that deal with issues with milk. And so I've found that if I just make it homemade, I can make it with our lactate milk and not have to worry about the regular milk and lactose free. I guess it's the lactose they deal with. But that I can make those soups and then it doesn't upset their stomach. So that's why I like having it. And homemade tastes so good. So good. So I'm gonna make some cream of chicken today and cream of mushroom soup. I actually had to go to the store yesterday. I didn't film any of that. The kids and I were out, way to do some running, post office, went to the park, all those good things. And I said, let's run to the store because I was out of coffee creamer, and you know, out of coffee creamer is not a good thing. I don't mind drinking black coffee, and I will, but I was like, oh, I could use some coffee creamer. So I got some coffee. When I did my shopping, my once a month, I didn't get like usually I stock up a little bit more, so if I run out, it's like, oh, we have it. So I didn't do any of that. I just got the bare minimum, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with waiting. My thought was when I go to the discount stores, maybe I would have found what I needed and grabbed it. Well, I didn't, and that's okay. So we were right by it, had to get gas. It worked out. So we ran in, we got mushrooms yesterday. I bought regular milk because, and now I know to buy the organic milk. I bought regular milk because I don't know if it's, I don't like cow milk, don't like it. So I'm smelling it and I'm like, I feel like this smells rotten, and then the kids taste it, like, no, Mom, it's fine. So yeah, so I can't trust my own self of smelling it if it's bad. I know it's bad, but a lot of you said that milk is going bad real quick for you too, where milk has lasted for a long time for me. So the organic kind, I think you guys recommended buying, so I'm probably gonna hopefully try to remember that when I go to the store, buy the organic kind to make it last longer, because I feel like I'm just throwing it out. So I got a gallon of milk, and then I bought some lactate milk as well, because of making the soups today. I wanted to make the cream of mushroom soup today. I'm like, I don't have any milk, I don't have any mushrooms. So I got those 2 things. Is that all we bought? I'm trying to think. And coffee creamer. I think that was it, yes. Milk, coffee creamer, and mushrooms. That was it. So it wasn't very much. And I'm doing so great. I put it into my little Dave Ramsey app, and I'm like, wow, we are not even spending a whole lot this month, which is good. It's a great thing. So anyways, making cream mushroom soup to store in the freezer. We'll do cream chicken soup as well, because I do like to have both of those on hand to make things. And then we're gonna make some refried beans. I'm not gonna do refried beans like where you make them and then you refry them and add stuff to them. I'm just going to put them in my pressure cooker and then puree them together in my food processor, put them in a container, put them in the refrigerator or freezer. That's how we like it. Those are nice to have on hand. You just pull them out whenever you're making like tacos, nachos, or whatever. Just having it done easily. And then I've got to put my bananas here. These have been, we bought these last week. They are overdone, more than ready to be put into bags or containers to freeze. So we're gonna do that today as well. I got my plastic containers. So I didn't, I don't know. When I bought them, I'm like, oh, 15 of each will be plenty. I don't feel like that's not really that much, because for the most part I use this size. And I feel like they're actually harder. So buying these things, they're so different. They're so different. Every company is different, and who knows what you're buying. I think I wrote, I like the ones, they're a little bit softer and the lids go around the top, like these lids push down. See how that works? They push down on it, and those are okay. They seal, but after a while these kind of get wonky and they seal weird. This is not pretty good, but maybe this will be fine. I don't know, I can't say it won't. Really tight. But the other ones, the lids are smooth on top and they go around. They're just a little bit better, but I don't know. It's one of those, like, there's literally 10,000 distributors for these containers. So finding them, I'm like, okay, I guess I will just get this batch. It's got good reviews. So you do what you can do. That's it. But I'm going to, I realize there's like 15 of these. I'm like, that's not much to put refried beans, bananas, and soup in, because I'm going to use it more. So I'm going to resolve and go to some Ziploc bags today for certain things. Probably the bananas for sure, because I feel like when my kids make smoothies, they'll take them and sometimes they use a whole container, but a bag, it's a lot easier to bend it to kind of smush out the banana how much you need versus like microwaving a plastic container to unthaw. So we're going to do that today. I've got chicken in my sink here. I'm going to cook some of that up. Chicken, I think chicken prices are crazy with eggs right now. And I bought some at the discount store. And it's, if they put it in the freezer, you know it's not going to be fresh chicken. It's not going to be super tender. If you cook in the pressure cooker for a recipe and cook it slow, it'll get tender. We're not eating like whole chicken pieces. Like that's just, we aren't eating that at all. It's like shredded chicken. It works good for our family right now in our life. So I'm gonna cook all of that in my pressure cooker after the beans are done and put a lot of seasonings in there and then put it in containers to freeze, because that's easy. That's easy for our family. It just works, and the chicken will be soft, tender, and delicious. I did it last week. I did the bone, or 2 weeks ago, I did bone broth and used up that chicken. I still have some, and that's good. This, I was like, it's just in my freezer. I might as well cook it up to get it, you know, all used up. And so when I have a recipe, I can just pull it out and use it. It's a good way to use up the freezer chicken that's gonna be a little bit tougher, a little bit not as tender as fresh, and that's okay. You do what you can do in seasons of life. So that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna focus on freezers. I might even kind of organize my freezer. I'll see how the day goes. I have a busy day. I have a busy day of running that I have to get to in a little bit. It just depends on how my life is. But for now, you're gonna get some food making, making food for my freezers, and then we'll just see how the day goes, because I'd love to say this is how the whole day is gonna work out, but you know, life happens and I never know. My goal is just to make the food. If we get to the freezers and can organize them, then awesome. But if not, hey, I'll do it another day. So you guys ready? All right, I got an earbud in. We're listening to a message. It's gonna be great. First thing first, I'm going to get my refried beans going. So I have pinto beans. These are great. There's nothing wrong with buying canned refried beans. I have canned refried beans in here. Oh, right here. 2 rows, 6. I think that's all I have right now. Those are great. I don't think I have any more in my closet, do I? Pretty sure I don't. Let me go look before I start this. Always good to check before you start doing it. I'm like, do I have a huge can? Well, I'm gonna make a freezer. If I have, no, I don't have any. That's good. So having these on hand, making refried beans, put them in your pressure cooker, put a little salt in there, just let it do its thing. They'll get soft, they'll do good, and then all I do is put them in my food processor and puree them up, and you've got refried beans. So simple. You can take, I think people put bacon grease in there. They say that's a game changer for flavor. I'm sure it is. My kids will eat them plain, just plain, and they like them. They don't complain about them. So that is how I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna get out. Just lose my. I was like, did I just lose my earring? There it is. I just just felt the earring flat in my ear here. So what I'm gonna do is get my pressure cooker out. I'll put the earring back in when I'm talking to you. Pressure cooker out with some water and beans. You guys ready? All right, let's go. I was just looking, I had to Google real quick how much, it's been a long time. I'm like, how much can I actually put in here? So I've got 4 cups, about 4 cups of dried beans. So it's about 2.5 cups of water. So I'm gonna go to the 12 cup mark on the top of mine, the max, it's right above it, and just, you know, hope for the best. But I am gonna add some, I have seasoning blend here, and this is onions and peppers and celery. So I'm gonna put this in here. And then when I go to, when I go to puree it up, they're gonna just be all pureed up with the beans, pureed. They're gonna be all pureed and mashed together for the beans. So that's gonna work. I'll add my salt after it's done cooking as well. Perfect, and then just put it on your, oops, oh, hello. Things coming off my gasket. You don't want your gasket to come off. I think I've replaced these once. Not bad. They start getting like stretched out. There we go. Okay, that on. And I think there is a beans. Is there another one? Just beans setting. Let's do it on high. Start. There we go. That's gonna do its thing right there. It's gonna take a little bit of time because I might have to go. Sometimes I go through it 2 times to get really soft beans. We'll just see how it goes. So let's do, you know what I'm gonna do next? Let's do the bananas and put them inside a bag. So frozen bananas work great for a whole lot of recipes. They're good for baking, it's good for smoothies. That's what we mostly use ours in smoothies. Pretty much my kids like a chocolate monkey milkshake, that's what they call it. They take bananas, they take milk, they sometimes do a blob of peanut butter, and they like cocoa powder. And that's it. I'm just thinking, is that it? That's it. And they like it. That's just simple. We used to do bananas and strawberries, but they just like bananas, so it works. You can also use it in your baked goods if you wanted to make something as well. So sometimes if I have a ton, we'll make some banana muffins or banana bread, just whatever. I got these for these 50 cents a bag, so that worked out really good versus paying $1.50 for them. And guess what? All bananas turn brown, 50 cents or $1.50. They turn yucky brown, and they work great for flavorings. The more you let them sit and become black and darken like this, the better they are for recipes because they have really good banana flavor. So I'm gonna put them in bags because again, 15 cups doesn't, or little containers does not seem like a ton. You do what you can do, and then it'll be easier to break apart when they want to make smoothies. So let me stick this in here. So many things you can do with frozen bananas. We used to make little, this reminded me, I used to make little smoothie packs. That was a really good, easy thing to do as well. I got these snack size bags and I took and put a bunch of the stuff that I would put in a smoothie. I'm just not big into smoothies anymore, but I would put some spinach, some strawberries, I'd put coconut chunks, and then, and bananas, and some berries, and then I would do like, you know, if I did chia seed or flax seed or whatever kind of powder stuff you wanted to put in there. You can even put a scoop of cocoa powder in there as well. And then close the little bags. This was really nice to have in the freezer for when I wanted to make a smoothie. And I just made small ones, but I'm not a big smoothie, just not my thing. I'm like, it's okay. But it is a neat thing to have on hand. It's easier than getting out, because in the morning you're like, let me go get a handful of strawberries. Oh, let me go get a banana. Oh, let me go get spinach. It's just a lot more work. It takes some time to put it together, but you can have individual smoothie packs already pre-made, and that helps hugely. And doing any kind of meal prep and getting it done beforehand is a huge time saver. And if you can do that, you know what? It just makes it easier to do things. I put a lot of bananas here, so what I got, 2, 4, 6, 7 containers, and there's a lot of bananas in here. A lot. 1, 2, that's a small one. That's easier to count though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 bananas in each. That'll be a lot of bananas when we make meals. So there was 3 that were getting moldy and real gushy, so I just didn't even open those. I was like, I'm just gonna throw those away because you don't want to mix that in there. But you can freeze bananas whole. Like if you didn't have time to put these in bags, you can take the whole entire thing and just put it in the freezer. I have done that. The reason why I didn't is because it takes up more space. So like those big bags would take up more space in this, and then you can literally just take it out and you can peel it with a knife and you can get all the skin off and use it in your recipe. That works good. We have also left them in the bag like that, put them inside a bag, which sounds gross. You take it out and let them thaw, and then it literally, the inside just kind of poops out. It's kind of gross, but it's really, it really does. You just squeeze it and it just flips out. Disgusting, I know, too much information there, but it does. So it works good either way. This will be nice, have it in bags. So I usually put everything in this freezer, but this one is not cleaned out at this exact second, right this second. So I don't think I'm gonna stack it in there. So I'm just gonna put them in my big freezer over here, and like I said, we might get to it and organize it so we can move on to other things. We're gonna move on to, I just had to move my pressure cooker. It was over here and it just completely shut off. I'm like, so I unplugged it. The plug is working. I plugged it over here and it restarted. Remember I had 2? I got rid of the other one because it was dying on me. I feel like this one's dying on me too. And that's okay. That's quite all right. So I was like, I will see what it does. I might have to cook it on the stove. I might have to go old fashioned and cook things on the stove. Whatever works. So what I'm gonna do now is start on my cream of mushroom soup. So I'm gonna get out my knife here, just chop a big one. I'm gonna roughly chop my mushrooms. I'm not gonna cut them super tiny because I'm gonna put everything in the food processor and puree it because nobody likes chunks of mushrooms. If you like chunks of mushrooms, dice them all up real pretty. I'm not going to. So I'm gonna puree them right here. I got 2 containers. I think it was $5 for these together. Probably a lot more than Sam's Club, but you can do more mushrooms, less mushrooms. I usually like the big container from Sam's Club, but I was not about to spend $7.50 on mushrooms because I'm like, it'll be mushrooming enough, the flavor, so it works. So I'm just gonna chop them up and then we'll go over here and cook. I've decided, since who knows what my pressure cooker is gonna do, it's cooking right now. I put in here my chicken. I'm just gonna cook it on the stove, like a good old fashioned cook it on the stove. It makes it really tender in the pressure cooker. I guess it's been years since I would have pre-cooked it on my stove, years, because I've had a pressure cooker, or I always used a slow cooker. So we're gonna put it on the stove, and that's okay. We'll just kind of cook it down. I think it's gonna be just fine. So this is a can of frozen chicken stock because, you know, we're just gonna shove that in there. So what I'm gonna do, that will melt down, give it a few minutes. So I put in there chicken, I think it was, what, for 8 packages of chicken? It was like $2.30. There was like, it was like $1 a pound. So it was probably 2 pounds, so probably 8 pounds of chicken. So, and then I've just put the chicken broth, the homemade stuff, there we go, shove it down. Because that'll be enough liquid in there. I might have to add some more, I just don't know. It's been a while. We're just gonna keep our eye on that. So that's gonna be in the back, in the side burner while we're doing this one. So I'm gonna cook some, I'm using some butter here. I'm using fake butter because it's you know, cheaper. Gonna put that in here. So I'm gonna let that come to a melting, give them a spurtle here, let that melt in here. And then we're gonna put in it mushrooms. I'm gonna get out my frozen onions, hold on. Why am I using frozen? Because I have them. And I do have some fresh ones. I just think I only have a few onions. And so when we do make certain things like hot dogs, like we had last night, it was good to have fresh onions cut up with it. So, better than frozen. So the frozen's fine because we're just gonna cook it anyway. So you do what you can do, but take a stick of butter, you're gonna melt it. I'm a bad follow the person recipe, I know. But I'm going to try. I'm going to try to get it followed to a recipe. So take a stick of butter and we're gonna melt this, and then we're gonna add some flour. Or actually, you know what? How do we do this? I made it, we're gonna do it this way. Okay, so I'm gonna take a stick of butter. I'm sorry, I'm like looking at my recipe going, wait a minute, I'm gonna do this a little bit different. So I'm gonna melt this, and then I'm gonna put in I can actually put in right now, mushrooms, onions, and some garlic. And we're gonna kind of saute those until they're softer. That's the key. And then I'm gonna put them back in the pan, and I'm gonna add some flour, and we're gonna kind of thicken it that way. So doing things a little bit backwards. Sometimes you just saute the vegetables, take it out, whatever works. This is just gonna be how I'm gonna do it. So this is the 2 packages of mushrooms. And then this is onions and peppers. So that's a good, and celery, I think, right? Onions, celery, green peppers, parsley flakes too. Kind of nice. And then I'm gonna put some minced garlic in there as well. Now we're gonna add a lot of that. Okay. I like more flavor. The more flavorful, the better. So we're just gonna cook this, let this saute, do its thing, and then we'll come back and do some more. As your mushrooms and onions are all nice and tender and soft, I'm gonna actually put these in the food processor now. You can do this in the beginning, putting your mushrooms in there right away, pureeing up. Sometimes you might have to add a little bit of water, whatever works, like whatever works for you. Can I just slide you, can we just go like this? Hold on, let me grab my stuff. There we go, whatever works for you when you're preparing your food. I put it in here, I pureed mushrooms like that were partially frozen. It smells like dirt, but it works. It's whatever you want to do. There's many ways to do this. You don't have to be stuck into like you have to do it a certain way. So this is just the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to put the lid on and puree this. Put this back on the stove, and then you return it back to like where it's heated, where it can kind of saute and be boiled. And then I'm going to add flour. Again, I gotta look at my recipe because I am a pie person and like what looks good, so I never measure. So I'm going to measure today because I'd like to see how accurate I am. 4, I think I have 8 tablespoons of flour. 5. I say do it until it looks like it's makes a nice thick paste. So 8, let's do 8 and see what that looks like. I know. So just stir that in. It's going to make a nice, it's going to absorb all that butter. Now if you're going to serve this right away as a soup, you're going to add more chicken broth, or chicken or beef. I'm going to use beef is what I'm going to use for my mushroom. I'm going to use chicken for my chicken and beef for my beef. You would add more beef or broth, but I'm going to add less because I'm going to be freezing for this. So I want mine thicker, more like a condensed soup. And I'm going to add more milk because when I make it, I want more milk on hand. So see how that's nice and thick like that? Okay, I was right, 8 tablespoons. That works good. And then I'm going to make out, let's see here. I'm going to add 2 cups of chicken or beef bouillon. Let's do. Let's measure 1, 2 teaspoons, and then I'm going to add 2 cups. And then basically stir this until it'll kind of thicken up real good. And then you're going to add milk to it. I'm going to use lactate milk because it's lactose free for my lactose free children. And that's going to work. This is delicious. Homemade cream mushroom soup. If you have not made it, you need to make it. So we're just going to stir this. So this is going to be thicker. Now normally it's 4 cups, right? Let me look. 4 cups. So it'll be a lot, more watery, but I'm freezing mine, so I don't want it that way. So we're just going to keep stirring. It's going good. You can use a whisk to help get the chunks out. If you don't like chunks at all, put it back in your food processor, in your blender, either way. Nice and thick, see that? That looks good. I'm going to add some salt and pepper to mine. Stir that up. And then this is where you can add milk, cream, whatever you want. We're going to add a little lactate milk because that works for my family. And then just stir this up. Really good, simple. Let that come to a boil. Soup is done. It's delicious. Tried it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is way good. See the thickness there? So I'm going to let this cool a little bit. I'm going to put it in a container because I'm going to start on my cream of chicken soup next. I didn't wash my pan out because it is okay to have some of that mushrooms in there. So I'm going to do the same thing for my cream of chicken as I did my mushrooms. So I'm going to put a stick of butter in here and let that melt. Getting the butter off the thing. I have to squeeze that off. And then for this one, we're going to do some onions, and I have some shredded chicken here I'm going to put in here. and we will puree these up as well, make it a little bit tender because I have like shredded chicken chunks. So I'm gonna put the rest of my mixture in there, and then this is frozen, so it works. Throw that over there. To just cook in here, we'll put some garlic in here, and we're just gonna cook this and saute it just till the onions get tiny. It's gonna be delicious. Another delicious homemade soup. You don't have to put the chicken in, you can just use chicken broth, but I'm gonna use chicken because we have a bunch of it here, and that was just a little container, so I thought that'll work right there. So let this saute. Get my water. So make chicken broth. I'm going to do mine backwards because I didn't make any. Use some chicken bouillon there, powder. You can use real chicken broth. I could have got some out of the freezer. Either way, but we're just gonna. Oh, you know what? You know what I didn't do? I was supposed to add my flour. Okay, so let's. That's okay. That's okay. Let's do this backwards. One. I gotta count on 8. I think it's. I just totally made a mess. 3, 4, 5, let's see, 6. I probably could get one more. All right, we're just gonna do it backwards. Hold on. It's okay. It's whatever you're gonna do. You could mix it with the butter, but if you don't, you just throw it all together like me. Mix it up. I might have to put that back in the blender because it's gonna be chunky, but maybe not. Do what you can do. Stir it up real good. Maybe it'll work. Let's see. It might not be bad. That's what you do when you're not paying attention. You just add it. But look, see, it's going to be the same thing. It doesn't really matter. Get my milk out. I'm like spilling stuff everywhere. I just spilled stuff over here. It's good. That's what washcloths are for. Okay, stir that up real good. Maybe it's not too bad. You might not have to worry about blending it again. If you do, that's okay. Even an immersion blender would work good. It would just scratch the bottom of my pan, so I don't want to do that in here. So just keep stirring, whisking it, whatever works. And we'll just keep heating this. It looks good. It's kind of chunky with the flour, so I'm gonna put it in my blender and put it in my food press and my little stand over here and whip that up. Didn't even spill. It's a miracle. Love this because I did food processor bottom and you can put your blender on top. So just go with that. Perfect, delicious. Get your spoon. I didn't even try it over here. Cream of chicken soup. You know what the beauty is? Is that the stuff isn't like normally cream of chicken soup is super orangey, more yellowy, and they're not too bad, different colors. Just the vegetable color. So this is good. I'm gonna let this sit for a minute to cool. This is probably cool. Yeah, it's nice and jiggly. See. That's awesome. I'm gonna put it in my containers. I think I'm gonna do the small containers. I usually use a big one, but we're downsizing the smaller containers like this one right here. This would be more like a can of soup. So I'm thinking I'm gonna put them in these because I do have these. So that's gonna work. Okay, let me wipe up my mess first, then we'll pour them in the containers. Okay, let's get out our containers here. I'm gonna use these, and this is what I'm pour my soup. They're a lot smaller, like I said, than the bigger one, but I feel like that's what I need to do. Now these ones stick together. Sticks so. These plastic containers, these are definitely not the normal ones. What is it? There we go. I'm gonna make a lot of soup. So I was trying to figure out the cost. So I paid, what did I pay? $5 for mushrooms. Flour is not very much. Butter is what? What do we pay? Like 50 cents? 50 cents for butter for one stick? Butter actually isn't $2. It was like $1. Or was it $2? I'd have to look that up. I'd have to look up the price. But let me pour these in a container. I don't think I have more. What did I say? What did I say? Let's see how many I come up with here. Okay, so I've got 5 of each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 total. I had to pour a little bit because I am big on overfilling these things. Like, yeah, I'll just overfill them just because, you know, that's how it is, and then the stuff is everywhere, so I'm trying to shove the lids on. So, and the chicken didn't get as thick because I didn't boil it afterwards because I pureed it. So this, okay, so you have 5 here, so this will be a mixture of one. This will come in handy like when I do potato hot casserole where you mix the 2 soups together. So I'm gonna have to make myself, I might be able to tell the difference, we'll see. But I was trying to think, how can you do a price comparison for these? And it's hard because like a can of cream mushroom soup is like $1.26 for like one of these. So I like multiplied, let's get the calculator out, people. Multiplied $1.26, this for a Walmart brand, times 5, and it's like $6.30. So I spent $4, there's $4 mushrooms at Walmart. I paid $5 just because I did. So I figured, you know what, the little bit extra, you still save a few dollars, but the difference is, and the milk, the difference is mine is dairy free. So, and you can't just find dairy free cream mushroom soup. So that's, you kind of would just choose not to use it. So that is the difference versus these, because yeah, it's a little bit cheaper, but I guess if you're making regular stuff, does it save? It saves a little bit, and you have it. It's cheaper to buy the Great Value one, but the taste is zero comparison. So, but if you need to save money, buy the canned stuff. I know, it doesn't even seem better to make it homemade, does it? But if you really can't, because I think the Great Value one, I'm pretty sure is like 88 cents a jar can, so that would be like $4.50. You can't even buy the mushrooms. Well, you can buy the mushrooms, but the milk and that would cost you. So it just depends on what it is in your area. So if you can't afford, keep buying it. But if the flavor is so much better making it homemade. So these are gonna go in my freezer, and I'm gonna have cans of cream mushroom soup for a long time, which is a good thing. All right, the only other things I'm gonna do is my refried beans and the chicken, and it's still cooking. The refried beans I put through again. They weren't super soft, so I'll put them in again, and then chicken is still cooking. So I'm gonna start cleaning my freezer, and you can come along to that too. These are the energy bites I made yesterday. So they are frozen solids. So I'm going to put them in a bag here. And then put these in the freezer. I have to clean that freezer out a little bit, just kind of organize it a little bit better. Sometimes when you go shopping, you just like throw things wherever you can throw them because, you know, it's all about space. So it just needs a little bit of tender loving care. And we'll eat these too. Sometimes it's good to change up how you do your freezers. So over there, we're going to organize them a little bit differently. So I had to take some stuff from over there and put it over here. So I'm going to go through this kind of real randomly quick and do as best as I can organizing it. Let me look over here and see what I got. I got some veggies I need to put away. I usually put all my like meat up on top, but the problem is it's like unlevel, so like it wasn't frozen perfectly, so it's like all falling. So I'm thinking to put more of like the sausage and stuff up there, kind of move it around, but I was able to put all my fruit on a shelf, which was nice. My applesauce, bananas, and my diced apples. So just moving it around. I'll let you know in a minute what we come up with. This I'm going to take and I got to defrost it a little bit so I can separate it into smaller bags. Okay, so this is going to work for me right here. I think just having the meat this way, just so I can see it a little bit better. So I've got all my kielbasa and sausage in the bag. I've got some beef tips here, and then there's some hamburger up top there. When I get my new hamburger, I will make sure to bring this like up to the front. So I use it and then stack the other stuff in the back. Or maybe stack the other stuff and just remember to use that stuff. However it works. So that's good there. Found I had breakfast sausage. Had no idea I have that. This is bacon behind here. I know there's a bunch of bacon. So I know they'll have that, and behind that is going to be my chicken. This is all shredded chicken as well. Soup's right there. So this will be the chicken that I do. I'll put it in containers, put it there. This is all our veggies for right now. Then we have our applesauce and bananas and diced apples right here. This one's going to be like the extra fun shelf. Can I bring it out here? The extra fun shelf. This has Monster cookies, energy bites, and then these are poor boy subs. We will pull those out. I don't know if they'll have them this weekend. Probably not, because didn't we just have them a few weekends ago? I can't remember what we did, but not this weekend. But we will have them again. Remember I made these because I had all the lunch meat was going to go bad, and I got the rolls for the buns for, you know, and that was like my price, my cost of them. Otherwise I was going to throw everything away. Well, this is good to have like towards the end of the month when you're like down to more casseroles, more soup, and you're like, what can I have that's fun? If you have a lot of casseroles and stuff, pull out your poor boy subs after that. That works. And then in here is all my potatoes, hash browns, and I did put my big bag of spinach down here because there's some up here already, and there are some peppers here. I've already got some up here. So that works. The door is easy enough. The soup, or not a soup, what's this stuff called? The juice. I've got pierogies. I forgot we got to use these up too. And then whipped topping. I've got a couple breads right here, just pita bread, bagels that do not have room over there. And then we've got pot stickers up on top, which is good. So we do have some things. I had this get left open accidentally. I know. So I took away the ice cream because that's what kids were going for, and the door got left wide open, which is not wide open, but enough to, like, you know, I was like, why is there water leaking out of my freezer? And I'm like, oh my goodness. So it's okay. It happened. So I just had to move things around a little bit. This freezer makes our ice cream so frozen. So it's hard when you scoop it out. But my big refrigerator freezer, it works a little bit better. So I'm storing it over there. The small one works good for having it as well. So I'm just maneuvering things around a little bit. So usually I put like my cream mushroom over here. And I do have some. Again, we're cleaning out, right? So this freezer has some over here. I have instant boba. We have bananas. I need to defrost my refrigerator here. This one, I don't know if the tube down the back gets clogged. It seems like I do this, I don't remember, maybe 6 months ago. I don't remember when I did it, but it gets where it clogs up, so no water can go through. I've poured hot water through, but it still gets stuck. So I don't know, something must have got down there. So I need to empty this so that I can do that. So I have a bunch of stuff in here right now, and this weekend will probably be a good time to do that. So I'm thinking if I just take that stuff over there, it'll work. So that's why I put the new stuff over there. We have like one refried bean, one cream mushroom. I've got some bananas, but as you can see, there's like freezer stuff on it. Yeah, it needs to be defrosted. So we put the ice cream in here that we opened, and then this is the one they're eating from right here. I see there's a couple of these things. There's cookies. I do have some cheese right here. Ice cream bar. Look at what else. A bag of ice, you know, a bag of ice for the kids. And I have some bacon. Cooked bacon. I'm gonna have to use that up as well. And then boba. The kids like this. This was a really good, for the ones that like boba, they did like this. So it was just a different kind of treat. I don't think I need this whole big box in here, but we'll move all that around later. So these were really good, the Magnum bars. So this will be something to go through. I've got my coconut flour. I'm going to use this stuff. Meat for baking, I don't know. It's one of those things I get cheap and then I probably won't keep it. No, it's the day off. So I just use it, but I keep my apples after we open them. So things I need to go through, but I don't think I'm going to do that today because I have a lot in the refrigerator. No, this one's pretty full right now, but over the weekend we'll downsize. It'll be out, and then I can go through, let it sit out for a little bit to, you know, defrost. So that will be a good thing. Let's check on our chicken and stuff. Actually, hold on. And then this one right here is, I've got some turtles, which I'm thinking to save from putting brownies. There's the ice cream that hasn't got opened, and then there's all our bagels. I leave an empty shelf for Evan. The bottom one is all of our cheese that we keep down there. So this is pretty much, this is how we do this one. It's mostly this one, grab and go for the kids, but again, we'll have to clean it out. So what else? I think that's it. Let's check on our chicken and our beans. Okay, my chicken is done cooking. I feel like it turned out probably exactly, it's probably just as soft, right? It's just as soft as in the pressure cooker. It works. So boil it on the stove or put it in your pressure cooker. No more thinking the pressure cooker is the only way. Don't think that way. Oh, you know what? You can do the same thing. Oh, that's hot. Hold on. On the stove. I think it just takes a little bit less time, but I don't know. My beans are still going. So I feel like it's about the same time. Hold on. So all I'm going to do with this is kind of shred it apart. That's all with a fork. So I've got 5 bags of shredded chicken here, which is good. It's all done. This is gonna save me a lot if I was going to make a chicken dish, because then I have to wait for it to thaw individually, you know, cook it, separate all that. It's like you just do it one time. That worked out good. It worked out good. Cooking on the stove, the same texture as the pressure cooker. Would we get rid of the pressure cooker? We'll see. If that one dies, I won't get another one, and we'll just see if life still runs and keeps going. I bet you it does. So let me go put this in my freezer over here, and then my beans should be ready. Okay, so I'm still waiting on my beans. They are not done yet. So I don't know if the pressure cooker is just going bad or what, but I just put it on the boil, put the glass lid on. I'm coming to a boil here, and then I'll boil it for a few more minutes, and then I'll just shut it off and let it sit. Then it'll be done. So, however, do it on the stove. It tells you on the back of the package of beans how to cook them, so you can do them that way as well. What I did is I emptied my freezer and refrigerator, so I got everything out of here. I was like, do I do this? I'm like, let's just get it done. So I moved what I had to this freezer. The refrigerator had some stuff I was able to put here. I took my eggs, put them in a basket, and set them outside because it's still kind of chilly outside. And then I had one out here. I'm just setting it here to make sure nobody climbs on top of it. So I'm gonna just wipe everything out, get it clean. I'm gonna have to let it sit for a little bit. It'll be warm in here, so it'll you know, help it defrost a little faster, and then I'll pour water along the back. That helps clean up that tube, and then we're just gonna hope for the best in returning it back on. So I've got it unplugged to make sure it doesn't get any cold, and just leave it open. It will thaw, and probably pour some water in the back, and then we'll just go from there. So I've Googled like how to fix the freezer, what to do. They recommended taking the back thing off. I've already done that last time this happened. And then like I pour hot water down, and they said make sure the tube is not stuck. Like I took it apart, stuffed like a real thin tube to clean out the drain tube. It didn't get anything in, but I'm pouring it right now, and I'm hearing the water go down. So I know it's going down. It just, I don't know if it just a flaw in it where if it just gets a little bit, it freezes, I don't know. So what I've been doing is putting a plastic container in the back here, because it condenses like in the back and then it drips down. That's how I'm solving my refrigerator issue. It works. I don't know, it's still running. And then I'm gonna look on the very bottom, because I know the drain pan is down there, and make sure that is filled up with water. It is filling up with water, so that's good. It's awful dirty in there, so I'm gonna get my vacuum and suck up as best I can on the floor. I don't know. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Let's just do this and then maybe do it again a little bit. It's better than buying a whole new refrigerator. Cleaning this out is presenting a whole lot of issues of dirty. So cleaned underneath. Now it's like it's thawing in the back, so stuff's coming out. Clean it up. So each bag made about 2 pounds of hamburger, so that's good. We use about 1.5 pounds. I should have cut it smaller, but I didn't. That's okay. So it's still pretty frozen. Put it in the freezer. Then I have hamburger all separated for the month and probably next month. Okay, that took way longer than expected. I had to run out. I had to do a bunch of dropping off and stuff, and I'm like, okay, these beans took a long time. So I would just do them on the stove next time. I think my pressure cooker might be saying it's time to be done, and that's okay. So you just do what you can do. So I'm gonna take these with a little bit of liquid and put them in my food processor here and just puree them up, and then I'll put them in containers. I'm gonna put a little salt in here as well. Very simple. Makes a lot of refried beans. Taste delicious for your family. It's good. Put some bean juice in there. So I'm finished doing all the meal prep that I'm going to do for my freezer. So those were some great ways: the cream of mushroom, cream of chicken, the refried beans, the shredded chicken, and the hamburger. Having that all stored up in my freezer. That's gonna help out for the month when I'm gonna need a can of cream mushroom soup. I don't have to make it from scratch. It's already done. So just ways to help, just those little tiny steps just to make life easier. So I'm gonna go. You have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow with another video. It's gather your fragments, and we're gonna make some food. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.